cannot allow people to interfere with what God has called you to do. You can't let them get up in your head. Hello, somebody. You know how they've told you something and it rings in your head. Every time you move forward, it seems like their voice comes back and it rings in your head. You say, this person told me this 10 years ago. Why do I keep hearing this? It's because they're inside of your head. And the Bible talks about renewing and transformation. And in order for you to get them out of your head, there must be a transformation that has to take place. How does the transformation take place? You have to spend some time with the Word of God. You have to be deprogrammed. Because if you've been around a person long enough, they can tell you that you ain't going to beat nothing. You're not going to beat nothing. And then guess what you start doing? You start believing. And then guess what happens? You end up being what they told you you were going to be. And you think I'm joking? There's some children right now that the mamas and the daddies told them they wasn't going to be nothing. And guess what? They were good kids in 5th, 6th, and 7th grade, but in the 8th grade, that thing that the parents told them started ringing in their head. They were smart. They were on the honor roll in the early grade, but by the 8th grade, it's just something that happens up in their head, and they start acting just the way. Hello, somebody. But so that's why it's so important for those of us who are parents that we must be willing to speak life into our children. Yes, they may be doing some tough stuff right now, but if you keep telling them, I believe in you, I know you're going to do better than what you're doing right now. I believe that God has greater things in you, and I believe that God has a greater purpose in you. You keep pushing that and pushing that and pushing that, and guess what happens? Something starts to happen on the inside of them, and the negative stuff that's inside their head starts being overshadowed by the positive stuff that's in their head, and they turn out to be model citizens. So Bartimaeus finds himself on the road, and he had sense enough to understand that if Jesus come by, you know that was the convention of all the blind people. And guess what? Somebody who was in another time said there was a guy named Jesus who came by, and the man had leprosy. You know there was some kind of convention with all the folks who were all kinds of elders. You know how it is when you have a problem. There seems to be somebody else who have a problem. We all get together and start talking about our problem. So at this particular convention, somebody came back who'd been healed by Jesus. And that person who came back said, wait a minute, I had an encounter with Jesus. And it was my faith that healed me. And he is the Son of David. So when this man, Bartimaeus, found himself on the road, hearing the commotion, something in the atmosphere was different. And when he said, what's going on? They said, Jesus is coming by. He said, wait a minute. I heard at the last convention of all the lame people, all the blind people, all the crippled people, all the people with leprosy, all the people with problems. I heard that there was a Jesus. All right. And I just need to know if this is the same Jesus. So let me call him Jesus, Son of David. He didn't ask if it's just Jesus. He made sure he clarified who he was. Jesus, Son of David. Of course, Jesus recognized that call because there was a faith connected to it. You know how when you go to God and you pray to God and then